Welcome.
Welcome.
Oh, I should point out now we are a man down, unfortunately.
How dare he?
Poor Wes is not feeling very well, so uh, Kate told him to get drunk
Yeah,
and
She
feel
did.
better.
well,
She
feel
did.
better. You
Welcome
put
back.
some lemon in there and it's medicinal.
It's absolutely true. Bourbon and lemon, healthy.
It is. So I've been told.
Welcome back to TTRPG Trials. Sorry we took a break. We are back now. We are excited to be back. And we are back with a new game. So Stewpot is over, and it is time for us to talk about Goblin Errands. Um, this is the 8th Dungeon. I'm Amber. You can find me as Hephaestus on the Romancing the Dungeon podcast, to which there's a new episode tomorrow, if I'm doing the math in my head correctly. I think Declan's in
Yes.
chat. He'll tell me if I'm wrong. And we have two shows next week. Next week is, I believe, marked for midnight and Ben and Declan on a roll. So watch the Twitch space. This is Dread.
Hi, I'm Dread. I'm also known as the Dreaded DM. I'm also known as Caitlin. Call me anything. I'm just a little guy. And um,
Like a goblin.
just like a goblin. I am a goblin. My husband calls me that a lot. Um, you can find me here. That I think here is like my main streaming place now. But I was also a player for Hearthfire Tales in their streamed campaign, The Wizard of Wild Space. I do little bits of real life DMing out in the world. I just came back from an event um,
Oh, that's
where
right. Did you do D&D in a castle, did
I
you?
did. I was one of
Very
the
good.
DMs for D&D in a castle. Uh, not the one you're thinking of,
Not
Kate.
the really
Not the
big
one
one.
you're thinking
Okay.
of.
The little Irish
As
one.
much as I, as much as I would love to claim that, it
It
is
was
not
still
that one.
D&D and it was still in a
It
castle,
was
It
so
was
both.
in a castle. I'm
It,
impressed.
it
We don't
was.
have those.
It was in Charleville Castle down in Tullamore, and we had a great time. I got to chase some people around with like demon toys. It was great.
great. Love that. That would be Wes, but as discussed,
Wes
not
is
here.
dead. I'm putting it out there.
To
Dead.
be determined.
To be determined.
TBD.
Wes will not be with us the next time we stream as well, but that's not because he's dead. That was
Mm,
pre-planned.
that's killing. It
To
was,
be
yes.
determined. And this is Kate who has chosen this week's game.
Hey, I'm Kate. Um, Longtime DM, but mostly offline. And I have been playing tabletop role playing games for probably longer than some of you have been alive.
I don't think you're
And
that much older than me.
oh, I'm an ancient person. I'm a crone.
I mean, I'm
Um,
nearly 30.
yeah. So
That look of, oh, you sweet summer child.
I remember 30.
Well, you're young enough to remember 30, so
Mm.
you know.
That's true. I do remember it. Um, I am really excited to be speaking Goblin Errands today. It's a game that I found um, totally off the cuff. Was not expecting to see it in my friendly local gaming store, but I was immediately enchanted by the art of the game and the concept. So I'm really glad to be talking about it today and really excited to be running a game or games over the next few weeks.
Mm.
Great. So, did you say you found that in a local shop?
I did. So I was in a gaming store in, I'm not going to tell you where because I can't remember.
Oh,
Um,
I thought it
I
was going
was
to be like, I don't want to be doxxed, but it's like, no, I just don't remember.
No, I just don't remember. Um, so I was in a gaming store and they had a really good collection of small publisher games. And
Oh,
I was flipping through them and I came across this.
Oh, cute. Look at it.
Isn't that
It-
I
adorable?
I
do love the
love
art
it.
for this. The art's
Yeah,
so
I
Yeah,
cute.
do
the
love the
art
art.
is delightful. And flipping through it, the concept of the game is well, I'm not going to say it's nonviolent because you can step on rakes and get stung by bees. But
Like
there's no
Looney Tunes
Yeah,
violence.
it's
Yeah.
like
Looney
Looney
Tunes
Tunes
vibes. Yeah.
slapstick violence.
Yeah.
And I picked it up because I thought, well, this will be great for me to play with my family. I have
Right.
kids and a husband, so maybe we
Mm.
can all play this together and have a great time. And as I read through it, I was really impressed by the depth of play and the unique mechanics that it brought to the table. So while I have not played with my family yet, that's what Tabletop Trials is all about.
Awesome.
So
Yes.
I'm excited to be playing with you guys.
So can I ask, you haven't played it with your family yet, and is this one of those things that all of us GMs do where we own 4,000 games and we've played two? Has it been sitting around for a while? Am I
Why
It
not
calling you out
me?
right
has.
now? Yeah.
It's been sitting around for a while, and actually, I like it so much that I have my physical copy, and I purchased the PDF copy from
Oh
Shark
wow.
the studio's itch.io page. Um, so I would encourage you to go take a look at that. It was $12 USD bargain.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
See,
so yeah,
oh, well, I was just going to say, I think it's really cool how you just stumbled across it in a local gaming store. Like, but I think that's a very that's something that's happens a lot in America. It doesn't happen as much, I think, here because
No.
I have there's a couple of gaming stores near me, but none of them would really stock like the smaller uh TTRPGs, and even if they did, it would be wild. And I'm just seeing this here, Shark Bomb Studios, which is the publisher and developer. I was corrected earlier. um, um, they have just posted a link in chat for where you can get the physical copy. Um,
They're saying if you've bought the physical copy, it comes with a PDF.
oh
oh
dang!
man,
There you go.
Well,
Double
there you
deal.
that's
go.
okay. I'm
There you
happy
go.
to have bought it too. Um, so, and I would also like to mention that Shark Bomb is a very active um, publisher slash developer.
Hmm.
Um,
As demonstrated here.
as demonstrated here, I actually just backed a new game
Mm.
on Kickstarter called Ex Novo, which is about it's a game about building a city, and I'm
Ooh.
really excited about it because,
Oh, okay.
to my mind, we have the opportunity to build a city, build in the history, and then potentially play a different game within it.
Yeah, like would you
Oh,
transfer that to your D&D game or something and use it as a environment? That's crazy.
Yeah, and the Kickstarter is closed. Sorry, guys. Um, but uh, but I'm sure that the the Shark Bomb will be able to direct you to where to pick it up once it's available.
I was gonna ask, is that a possible season two TTRPG Trials game?
Oh, maybe, maybe.
Well, like
Maybe
maybe.
it's going to be an interesting one that I think just because of the physical drawing that I foresee in the game future. So
Mm.
we'll have to ask Martin about,
Yeah.
about
Well,
what he thinks about playing that transatlantic.
they've actually said the Kickstarter does take late pledges, so you still
So
Go
can.
get it.
if you want to hop on that,
Haven't even played it yet, but go get it.
yeah, go get it. Why not?
It's just a fun idea, honestly.
Oh, I
Building
love
a
that.
city with
Yeah,
history, that's cool.
Yeah, like
yeah.
and to be honest, like I took a brief read through both the playbooks and the actual rule book for Goblin Errands. I but not too much because I wanted I want Kate's uh, insight.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love it. I love it. But I'm a sucker for a game about little guys. I do know that about
We
myself.
all love a
Me
little guy.
too. Me too. And it's and the little guys in this game, I find, and we'll talk about this when we get to our slides. Um, and we start looking at what a character sheet looks like, or pardon me, a playbook. Um,
Mm.
the Once we start looking at that, you're going to notice that the goblins have infinite heart and zero might.
Yeah.
So they are you're not gonna be lifted much. But when you are faced with a difficult challenge, um, you will be you will be able to overcome despair or that feeling of being stuck.
So
Or your
capitalism.
character will. I don't know about you guys.
Oh, it's not looking good for me.
Okay, so you want to throw up those slides and we'll run through them
Yeah.
real quick?
Yeah,
Let's do.
for a feature presentation for all
Feature
your faces.
presentation with art
There they
from
are.
the PDF to the best of my ability.
Beautiful.
Woo! Credit.
I,
Love that.
I will say that Microsoft PowerPoint is probably not the best photo editor in the world, but it
Yeah.
does have the advantage of being the one I own.
Mm.
So,
And that's
Listen,
all you
we work
need.
with what we have.
and
Exactly.
that's what we got.
That's it. Right. Will we crack in?
Do
Yes,
it.
please.
There we go.
I wonder if it's going to appear on my screen. I don't remember.
It's on stream.
Oh dear. Okay, so it's on screen. So the first page is merely the front and back of the book, and I've already told you um, my story behind that. When I look at the art on this, and this again, this was the first thing that drew me to the game.
Yeah.
Um, you have just kind of this wild uh, physical cacophony of
Mm,
what's going on. And I find that really charming because right off the bat, when you look at the art, you are able to get the idea of what the game is about
yeah.
and how you might play it. There's not a whole lot of restrictions on what you can and can't do, except for lift things. Uh, um, so it's a very exciting concept and game for me to run, and I hope for you guys to play. So let's head on to the next slide, which is all about what the game's about. So you are goblins, which is I've actually heard people say that everybody who plays tabletop RPGs is a goblin person or a kobold person. I would.
I believe the correct term is dice goblin. That is the name of our people,
It's true.
Well,
but
that's
we need
true.
to be respectful of that.
Well, and I used to say that I loved kobolds, and they still have a little place in my heart. But I'm sold on goblins now.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
So you as players are goblins, and you're cute and you're sweet and you're gross and you're resilient and you're weak physically, and you're not very good at paying attention and you're messy as hell. So a goblin in this game is kind of a chaotic force.
Hmm.
One of the things that you are going to encounter during the game is you will be there's the Goblin Ken, which is the Goblin hometown,
Mhm.
um, but you will be entering the world of the tall people. And you're going to be encountering a lot of things that you don't recognize that mean nothing to you, um, and are generally confusing. Um, so you're going to need to follow through. You're going to do a lot of failing forward um, with this game. And I have some exciting things that I'm hoping to bring in. But the whole purpose of that and what that means to me is as a um, as a neurologically divergent person, um, sometimes the world just doesn't make sense.
Mm,
And this game to me is about living in a world that's made for other people.
Mm,
Um, and that is something that I find really compelling.
mhm.
mm. Preach.
Um, oh yeah,
I just
what was
said
that, Dread?
preach.
Yeah, so like expect not to say, well, they probably know what a dog is, but a tower might be a tall circular stone thing with
That's a
a
Yeah,
weird
ice
stone
cream
tree.
cone on top.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, so goblins live in Kens. I mentioned those a moment ago. They're goblin hometowns. And Kens need stuff. I listed a few things here. The biggest one that I think is interesting is relationships with other communities, particularly tall
Mm,
people
Oh,
communities.
okay.
And basically anything they can't make themselves, they got to get somewhere else, usually from interactions with tall people.
okay.
I keep saying tall people, that means humans. Um, when we play, it's going to be humans. If you wanted to take it to like a high fantasy place, it could be elves and dwarves and stuff too.
I would
Um,
it would be hilarious to do this game in front of a bunch of like really serious high elves.
oh
Jesus
yeah.
Christ. That would be amazing.
Um, so somebody's got to go get that stuff, and it's you.
Sick.
Um, the reason you guys are going to be going to get the stuff is because you are new to the Ken. Goblins have a social structure where, um, in order to grow their knowledge base and their cultural breadth, they they travel from Ken to Ken when they are young goblins. So you'll be born
Mm,
here
Oh,
and you'll travel to some other Ken elsewhere where you learn and grow and develop your maturity and your standing in the community.
oh, I love
Um,
that.
yeah. It's
yeah,
like
it's fun.
it's like journeyman blacksmith. Like whenever they or like because I just watched like a video on the history of like blacksmithing. Um, I do fun. I'm cool and fun and anyway. um,
It's okay.
uh,
I watch videos about numbers.
well, that's fun. um, so like basically like when they're apprentice they learn everything, but then when they graduate from apprentice they can either like stay on with the blacksmith that trained them, or go off and travel around as journeymen, um, and smith in different towns to learn different types of blacksmithing and other types of skills. And it's just
Well,
it's
and I
just
think
cool.
that that's a very apt comparison. As you complete your tasks or partially complete your tasks or have disasters attempting to complete your tasks, um, you progress in a non-experience based manner. You collect titles um, at the table, so they're titles within your ken. When you have six of them, you basically retire the character. You
Okay.
get to tell it, say, he's going off to found a new Ken, or she's going to do something else. You do stuff of your choice as you retire that character.
I see.
Um, and I think that's, to me, having a defined stop point reminds me a lot of Stew Pot.
Mm,
Right,
Um,
yeah, I was just thinking about that, like the how, like, just having that, okay, this is when you stop, this is
Yeah.
when this is over.
Right.
Like, it's nice. That's all I was gonna say. I'm
Well,
finished.
and it's I think it's nice. I agree that it's nice to have a defined maturity point for a
Mm,
character. Um, so you're not goblins in this game are not crazy powerful creatures.
Yeah.
Um, by the time you have 6 titles, you'll be fairly adept at doing a bunch of stuff. And that might not be as fun in the milieu of the game. So I really like having that defined maturity point.
Yeah.
mm. Yeah, because it's also, it's the joke of D&D. Either, like, you're constantly playing and things just keep going on and on and on, or you don't play at all. Sometimes, like, what I'm finding about these smaller games, uh these smaller indie games, is that they tend to have like a, okay, you can stop here.
Mm.
Like, it's I can see why some people wouldn't like that, or they like to have that kind of open-endedness, but especially as I keep trying and failing to have ongoing campaigns, it's nice to be able to
Yeah.
go to uh, a party, to be like, okay, we are going to have 3 sessions and that's it.
Yeah.
That the book says so.
It kind of feels like a movie versus an ongoing TV show, right? Like you sit
Exactly.
down,
Yeah.
you watch a movie, you get the whole story, feels good, everyone's happy at the end, assuming there's not a second one upcoming, versus like, a 15 series, 24 episode per season TV show that just keeps going. And at some point you're like, Jesus Christ, can you give them a break? And also, can you give me a break? And like, please stop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
and
why do you keep hurting these
I
people?
love the 24 episode season that doesn't get a follow-up and then
Yeah, well,
it's like your
that's D&D,
campaign
isn't it?
ends in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's we all got too busy to keep doing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The actors got a better offer and moved on.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So when I picked up this game, I flipped through it, cursory flip through to see what it might be about. And I saw playbooks. And I said, oh, it's apocalypse. I can do that. I know apocalypse. Um, however, this is the next slide, Amber. Sorry.
Yep.
Um, when I compared it to, I pulled out, I was like
Oh, dang.
reading through it in more detail. Um, I feel like it is not pure apocalypse. I pulled out like 4 or 5 apocalypse books,
Right.
Okay. Look at
and
you with your
compared.
research and
Yeah,
your
I was
I
about to say,
monologue.
research.
look at this. Look at, you got tables and shit.
Coming with
Yeah,
receipts.
yeah. Well, I got a
Love
price
it.
tag. Does that count? Um, but so you got your character playbooks.
Mm,
Same. They look very similar
Yeah.
across Apocalypse and Goblin Errands.
mm,
You are still resolving things with a D6 or multiple D6s. With Apocalypse, uh, typically you are playing a higher powered person,
Yeah.
mhm.
and when you want to resolve something, you get a free 2d6, and then you roll your stat number of more d6s. Um,
Right. Okay.
in
So
Goblin
I.
Errands, you just get your stat number of d6s, so you're not going to be getting sky high results.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and another thing in Apocalypse, you've got additive success and failure. So if you add up your dice and you get 10 plus, it's a success. Um, in Goblin Errands, it is rather like the Goose Game we played a while ago, um, where you've got 1 through 3 is a failure. You've got a stumble on a 4, and when it says stumble, that is something
A
that
partial success.
it can be turned into a success if you take a complication,
Yeah.
which is fun.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and then a 5 or a 6 is a straight up success.
Cool.
Um, and then with Apocalypse, you start gaining advanced features and stats after each session. Whereas with Goblin Errands, you start gaining advanced features and stats after each mission.
So each encounter, so one counter is you go to the shop, and then when you leave the shop, you would leave with a level up, essentially,
Well,
bef-
let's say, for
before going to the
example,
next location.
let's say your mission is, we've got the Goblin Ken, but we don't have anywhere for everybody to eat together. So go get us a table.
Right.
Um, and so your total mission success would be to come back with a table. Um, and a partial success would be maybe an IKEA table that you can't put together.
Oh,
Well,
brutal.
that's just
Or
real life. I don't
That,
need that
that,
in my games as
yeah,
well.
that seems unfair to me personally.
um
And
or
Shark
you could
Bomb
just
Studios has said not a mission, an errand.
errand. I apologize. I apologize. It is an
Let me
errand.
be so clear, it's an errand.
Yeah, so let me correct that. Can you just open up the thing and correct mission
Well,
to errand?
yeah. There you go.
um so and then of course a disastrous failure would be you burn down the warehouse where the table are. Um so those are the kinds of endings that you might have to your errand.
Right.
Um, and so basically, instead of being a show up system, it is a complete something success system.
It feels a little
Um,
bit more like earning it versus I've just been doing this for a really long time and my GM gave me something to shut me up.
yeah, it's like, did I gain a level this time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
nice to know. It's nice to know that if I do this, I get like a level or a boost or whatever. Like
There's a little
it's
reward.
nice to have it. Yeah.
There's a little treat.
Little guys need a little treat at the end of the
I
day.
need a little treat. I said up top that I'm a little guy and I need a little treat.
exactly, and there are so the when I say you're getting advanced features and stats after your errand,
Mm.
um, those come first in the form of a title or a merit. A merit is half a title. And when you gain one of those, you can pick an advanced. Uh, I've forgotten the name of them. I don't want to say feat.
No, I think
Um,
they are feats.
yes, they are feats. Oh, good. So you can pick up an advanced feat,
Nice.
or you can pick up, if you've got a merit, you can pick up any feat from anybody's playbook. So honestly, even pardon me, it's pollen season. My black
Yeah.
car is entirely yellow right now.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It is all
Um,
yellow.
and so you wind up, your character starts out just with a name, but after your first successful errand, you might be Swamp Pants your name.
Oh.
And the
Oh,
names
what happened
Oh
in this
no.
mission? Why?
they and the
Why
names,
though?
they don't have to make much sense. They just have to kind of
Love it.
mean something to the Ken. Um, and I really like that because the names can be utterly ridiculous, the titles. Um, And now, so those are the core, like how you resolve things. There's
Mm.
two other mechanics that I find delightful, and I've listed one here, and then I ran out of space. Um, the first is the focus, and I think this is probably the most compelling to me. As I mentioned earlier, the goblins aren't real good at paying attention to stuff necessarily or keeping it together. The focus represents keeping your goblin's attentions together long enough to execute an ability. Almost every ability in your playbook is going to require you to spend the focus. Now,
Okay.
the cool part about this is there is one focus per table. So,
Oh,
Wait a minute.
okay.
Wait, hold
So we
on.
all just have ADHD and are distracting each other at all
I
times.
already
at
have
all
that,
times,
and it's upsetting that now I have to deal with it more. Why?
yes. So, and you get the focus by doing something hilarious. Um,
Okay.
and that is preferably something hilarious on the table.
Right.
But if you're really awesome, I'll let you maybe pick up the focus when you do something awesome over the table.
I see. Okay.
Um, and now there's also, say, Dread, you have the focus,
Oh wow.
and Amber earns it. She's going to take it from you.
How dare you? I've
Uh,
had it one
Sorry.
time.
Sorry.
um, so it's possible, however, for you to kind of sneak in an ability under that pass. So it's like you're gonna pass it over, but then I'm gonna do my thing right before it goes.
Okay.
Um, so there are lots of opportunities there. Um, that's the focus mechanic. The other mechanic, which is closely related to the focus, is called overextending. Now,
Mhm.
when you overextend yourself, you're using one of your abilities that requires the focus without the focus.
Oh.
And the way that works is I make a die roll and I don't tell you what the response is.
Hurtful.
Um, so, which I think there ought to be more of in games anyway.
Mm.
Um, so what's going to happen is if you succeed, you succeed. If you fail, I'm not going to tell you
Damn.
until it's really funny.
Oh no.
Yes. So I'm really excited about seeing that come into play.
Oh,
See,
that's fun.
like you have already sold me on getting this game. Like truly, because like I've realized since starting TTRPG trials that I really like these. I'm a huge fan of these indie games,
Mm,
and also like the really kind of cute but chaotic ones.
yeah.
Which because we played the Goose game, which was mine during
You brought
the
us, yeah.
drive. I brought geese into our lives. Stew pot, which was like optional, like you could be a cute little guy,
Yeah.
but it was but the vibe was very cute little guy.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like the definition of chaotic cute little guy.
Yeah. This is a silly little guy.
This is a very
Yes.
silly,
Yeah.
and I'm realizing I just like that in my life, and I need more of it. So
Well, yeah, me too.
I'm probably going to be engaging in this um in this in this venture and buying one of these to be trying out at a table of mine before we've even tried it. I'm sold. I'm immediately sold.
I don't even have to play it. I just like
Uh,
talking about it.
yeah, no, I
Well,
like
let's
talking about
hope that I can keep your attention when we actually play.
it. I
Um,
mean,
we'll do our best.
mechanically or in real life.
Focus, focus.
Well, oh, and one
Jigga-jigga.
thing that I wanted to mention is we're digital play transatlantic here.
Mm,
Yeah.
Um, what are we going to do about the focus? I have some ideas. So I'm
okay.
Is it
kind
like
of thinking that each of us have a spoon.
is
Shark
it like
Mom
a is it,
recommends that you use a spoon because it's shiny and it's fun to play with and it's relatively difficult to hurt yourself with. Uh, um,
I'll do
and
it.
please do
Watch,
try, please.
watch me, coward.
Try to
But I'm
stop me.
thinking like maybe whoever has the focus holds it up.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we'll all have our own spoons,
Okay.
except me. Um,
I
or
mean,
Well,
I'll
we
have one. I'll
can.
be the table.
you can
Yeah.
have a spoon.
I can have a spoon.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my hypothesis for how we ought to play with the focus.
Okay.
Um, but we may have challenges with that as we
Mm,
play digitally.
mm-hmm.
Right.
So I think we as a group need to be willing to kind of perhaps make some changes on the fly as to how we're
Mm,
handling it. But I think that'll work.
Yeah, I honestly think, like, yeah, digital play is always going to be different no matter how you swing it. But I think, like, the only other thing I could think of apart from like a spoon or some sort of like physical totem, is like maybe like I don't even know if this would be possible to do, but like to like color border, put
Ooh,
colored borders along around the frames of each person
Oh,
who
okay.
has the
Okay.
focus. Like I think it would require, like, I don't know how we would do it like with the system that we're doing. I've never
It
had to.
would require me to do some work.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm like, Ember, get on that.
But like highlight whoever has it, you mean like on stream.
exactly,
Mhm.
Okay.
exactly. Or just oh, actually, Shark Bomb was saying earlier in the chat that there was some sort of whiteboard capabilities.
I think that was the city building game.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, oh, if we can whiteboard that, let's do that for season 2.
Yeah. I think it is for the city builder game. I think you're right. Shark Bomb, if you're still there, you correct me if I am wrong. But oh, my video player is broken. Oh no. Is there something wrong with our video player? Is it us
Everything
or Shark Bomb?
everything looks okay on my
Yeah,
end.
everything looks good from me.
Um, so far so good for me.
Shark Bomb threw a bomb into our
No.
video player. No, no.
They took the spoon.
How dare they?
Give it back.
We need that spoon. We're sharing it among three people.
Yeah. Somebody has to have a harebrained scheme, which is one of the focus abilities. And I love that
Interesting.
one.
I
I,
love
I
that.
I did see one where I think one of the I can't remember what the playbook, the square where the guy one of the abilities of the square is frustrated. You can't you
I
can't
love it.
and now that I understand what it means, it's even funnier. It's like you can't gain the focus. You are always focused. Instead, you gain the frustration when someone laughs at your worldview or doesn't take you seriously.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's so I think I really like that one. I'm curious if anybody like really is in love with it. I'm curious to see how it plays.
Mhm.
Mm.
Um, and if no one's in love with it, well, we'll figure it out next time.
Well,
Um,
I'm too in love with the others. Is the problem? See, I love them all, but I would put the square maybe third on my list. There's
So
too
you're
many.
saying we need to play 3 times instead of two
Yes,
times?
that is what I'm
Okay.
saying.
Okay. Gotcha.
So,
well, and you say play 3 times instead of two. That's an interesting one that I was contemplating this morning. Um, when we are playing, and we'll decide this, I'm sure,
Mm.
during or after the first session,
yeah.
um, do we want to um, play the same characters twice in a row, or do we want to create a new characters such as that?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
Well, the same thing kind of came up with Stewpot is we had the intention of just cutting it off after the first run and then trying something new with the second run, but everyone got so attached to their character and the story that nobody could let it go. So we just continued.
See,
Yeah,
I do foresee that being a thing here again. So, but I'm also up for saying for waiting and seeing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like because it could be that we get like a really nice ending for that Ken. I was like, yeah, let's just move on. I feel like this
yeah,
game would lend itself nicely to that as well.
yeah. I think so too. I think this is like well, differently perhaps than Stew Pot,
Mm.
because I think Stew Pot might, if you play a really long session, you might get through enough to get to the official end game.
Yeah.
Um, I see Goblin Errands as one that you can, since there is a maturity point for the characters,
Yeah.
you could easily play until everyone has 6 titles or you
Right.
could play until somebody gets to 6 titles and then they bring in a new character.
Yeah.
Um, and you could do a lot like that. Alternatively, a one shot is entirely valid.
Like,
So we'll see what we want to do.
just as a question, just as somebody who has like read through it, has a better understanding, do you think six titles and reaching maturity is something we can do within one session, or do you think it would be more natural, say, collect three in in session one and then three in session two?
I think we're going to get like maybe two in session one.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, I think typically the expectation is since you're on one errand and you get one title or merit for a specific errand, in order to get two, we'd have to do two errands,
Okay.
um, which, depending on how many side quests we take or how long we spend getting that table, um, it could easily be, one errand is one session.
Okay.
Um, so I think it really is going to depend. Um, but I'll prepare a second just in case.
Because it is, I think it really, it also would depend on the table, right? Because like we have now proven ourselves to be a table who love a bit of role play.
We'll have a chat.
um we
Just a
do love a chat,
little.
just a chat. um so like, would you say it more lends itself to role play, or like, it's that I definitely don't see this game, especially with your beautiful table. um
Ta-da.
it doesn't seem to be very rules heavy or crunchy.
It's Yeah, to me it is fairly rules light.
Right.
And I foresee um, a lot of um, a lot of opportunity for you guys to role play. And a lot of opportunity for me as the tall person, which is what we call
Oh, for a second,
the
I was like, what?
Cute.
Tall person? What do
actually
you
you
mean?
call them the TP because nobody should take themselves too
Nice.
seriously.
Fair.
Nice.
Um, so I foresee lots of opportunity for you guys to role play amongst yourselves,
Mhm.
and for me to bring in some NPCs that I hope are compelling and contribute to the role play.
I see.
Okay.
So I I think, maybe it won't be almost pure role play like we did with Stewpot.
Mm.
Right.
Um, it is compared to Stewpot's mini games and select the mini game kind of mechanic. Um, it is more of a conventional
Yeah.
Right.
TTRPG system, but it's so rules light that I think we're going to have plenty of room for role play.
Loads of
Okay.
space for shenanigans.
You
Yeah, and
gotta have.
Wes is going to have to watch us on stream and be very envious.
I'm just imagining Wes with it like a single tear rolling down his cheek as he watches this.
Let me see. Anything more to say about mechanics? And do you guys have any questions or thoughts here?
Not at the minute, I don't think. Like I've definitely seen more or less these mechanics before. Even the like
Yeah,
success mechanic is like that's what you use
in Goose
in the
Game.
goose game. Yeah. It's a smaller number version of what I use in Brindlewood Bay. Like I've seen it, so I get it. The focus is fun, but I don't have questions. I think we just have to see how that's gonna work.
Yeah, I think I had a question, but it's not necessarily about mechanics. The mechanics seem, which is a huge point forward. The mechanics seem very easy to pick up. So my questions would be more about attitudes towards the game, if that makes sense. Like, am I approaching it like as like a role, like with Pot, where it's almost like a role play exercise or like an improv exercise, or am I approaching it more like a D and D one shot? You know what I mean? So,
Hmm.
I, To make a long story short, no, I don't have any questions.
Well, and honestly, I think, well, I know you guys, you're going to approach it as a role playing exercise.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Um,
I'm just
but
asking if the question is, is it meant to be that?
I
Am I going to do the
and
right thing when I do what I'm inevitably going to do?
Exactly. When I charge head first into this role play exercise, am I meant to do that, or is that a complete no?
to me, it feels like role play heavy.
Okay.
And I'd love to hear Shark Bomb if you disagree.
They
Um,
actually just left
Yeah, they had to
unfortunately.
dip.
oh, they're
Yeah.
gone. I
They
missed them.
just dipped. Yeah.
Well, then, of course, it's a role play exercise
Of course
because
it
Whatever
is.
it
you
gets to
want
be
it to be.
whatever I
Of course
want.
it is. Why wouldn't it be?
We
God.
are
Um,
getting an interview with Martin with Shark Bomb Studio, so we can save up some questions like that for them for that interview.
Mhm. That'll be interesting.
I know they were only emailed about booking it today, so that will be coming in future as well.
yeah, and I'm excited
Mm,
to hear about that. I'm probably going to, and I would encourage you guys to write up some questions for them.
yeah.
Make them difficult.
Don't let them off easy.
Do you prefer goblins or kobolds? Go.
So let's flop over to the next slide. This is a little two-part representation of a character playbook. So the character playbook this is why I thought it was an apocalypse game.
Mm,
Yeah,
You've got
I did
your
think that when I saw it first time.
yeah, so you got your stats up at the top and you've got your feats below. You've got your starting feats and your advanced feats. This is cut in half because I wanted to make it legible,
yes, thank you.
or to the degree that it can be legible with tiny little letters on a screen.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, there are, I've forgotten how many, several,
There are
probably,
a good few, yeah.
yeah, 8 or 10 playbooks um, with that come with the system. And I love one of the things that is written in the book, just kind of as a little sidebar is, oh, you may notice that these playbooks are loosely based on classes from this big role-playing game.
Couldn't don't know what they're talking about. Couldn't imagine which one. Never
No
seen it
idea.
again.
But you've got everything from the ratter here who has tons of abilities related to vermin.
Mhm.
Um, you have a kind of holy sort of goblin, um, whose deity is your deity of choice.
Oh,
Um, and you have the Wizwort, which is a semi-competent magic user. Um, and there's I don't want to say a rogue. There's a thiefy type character,
the
Okay.
rascal, the rascal.
the rascal, and there is a performer type character.
Oh.
So there are if you're looking for an archetype that you are familiar with, it's there, but
Mm.
it's kind of balled up into a little roll of twine.
Mhm.
Um, and instead of just being able to, if you're the Wizwort, just being able to cast a spell, you have to have the focus, and the spells are not real strong.
Okay.
Um,
A lot of
so
prestidigitation going on.
yeah, exactly. Like if in D&D you were going to cast prestidigitation, um, the Wizwart's spells are about there.
So like
Okay.
a bunch of cantrips essentially.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Now every when you're building your character, you have one, two, three, four that you may assign to each of your four stats there. As I mentioned earlier, your frame, which I called might, your frame is always zero. So you're not going to go lifting any cows. Um, and your heart is always infinite, which I find, again, really charming.
Yeah.
Um, so you may step on a rake and get a concussion, and that'll affect your future rolls. But
Oh,
you're not going to lose hit points and die.
So now we come to the only thing I don't like about this game. And it's so important that I get this out there because it's deeply upsetting to me. One of the abilities, one of the stats here is called mouth, and
Mm.
there are descriptors underneath for what your mouth looks like. And one of those descriptions is wet, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate the fact that it's in my head forever now, and it'll never leave.
Yeah, no, and it's as you set those stats, you will you set the stats wherever you want them. As a lifelong min-maxer, I will put them where I feel is strongest for the class,
All
for the
right.
playbook. Um, but you also choose kind of the qualities of of the stat, and there are several suggested below, but you can make up your own. So you're not obligated to have a wet mouth,
Oh.
although
Don't say that.
slobbery
Never say that to me.
slobbery might be
Ew.
appropriate.
Well, so this is my question. Does the descriptor affect like what you can do or how well you can do something?
Not to my knowledge off the
Okay.
top of my head.
Okay. Not
Um,
necessarily.
Not necessarily. I will revisit that more
Yeah.
closely, but
But for role playing purposes.
for
You need a
role-playing
wet mouth.
purposes, you have a slobbery mouth.
Disgusting.
Well, I said they were gross.
That's true.
But I thought you meant it in like a like a. I don't even know how I thought you meant it. I just didn't think this was it.
Just not that gross,
Just
okay?
not that gross.
No, no, no. Gross. They're as gross as you want them to be. You can have a tidy one if you like.
Well, see, I just like see. I don't even mind if it's like a like a craggy mouth or like a. It's just
No.
when you get into like, oh, this is a wet mouth or this is a dry mouth. It's like, why is your mouth so wet? Or conversely, why is your mouth so dry? Like that means you're a mouth breather, and that is also gross.
I've got to say, now that we're talking about it, any mouth description just doesn't set well with me.
No,
Yeah. No,
no,
I think that's real fair. Um, do it anyway.
I
Fair
don't
enough.
want to.
Too bad.
And
In the
Well, I
spirit of
mean,
the game.
maybe you have like lip filler,
what?
or you're missing some teeth, or you have gold teeth.
That's fine. Like there are some description, like under the description of the rascal, right? There the descriptors are thin.
Fair,
Okay,
fine. Okay.
not the best, but we can live with it.
Yeah.
Quick and cheeky. Okay,
Oh,
those are good. I
that's fine.
can accept that. But like uh. And there's other adjectives like angular and pinched and crass, depending on which like it's the one like wet and dry are the ones that really bother me. But
Well, but if you look at the
one of
ratter here, you have crooked, you have rude, and you have quiet. So
yeah,
it
What does
can
a
be.
rude mouth look like?
like a
I think a rude mouth is one the way you speak.
I
Oh, okay.
see I when I imagine like a rude person, they
Mm,
always have like the lips, where they look like they're sucking a lemon.
mm, mm. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and you're just
Okay.
like ugh,
Up for
ugh.
interpretation.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And one of
Maybe they have like really pursed lips and they swear a lot. Maybe it's both. Maybe it's
Yeah.
a two for one
Oh,
special.
I'm so mad. One of the descriptions is unwashed
You just find the best ones.
because it's so important to find the ones that are like actual, like
Oh.
physical, like. See, my mom used to have my mom. I love my mom deeply, right?
Let me
I like
preface
how
this
you're
story.
qualifying this before
Yeah,
you start.
but it's so important to qualify it before I start because when I was a little kid and I would sometimes you'd forget to brush your teeth. It happens
Sure.
sometimes. Sometimes my mom would like be like, "Okay, come on up, let me check your teeth. Like, make sure you brush your teeth." And she would like come up and she would like scrape it with a little nail. She'd be like, "Oh," and be
Ah,
like, "Oh, you got butter on your teeth."
no.
And that's why you have to I have to qualify it by saying I love my mom. All right.
That's fair.
I still, despite this,
And
Oh,
it's still fully gross, so that's why I cannot take it when
fair
people
enough.
are like, "Oh, unwashed mouth." But now
okay.
we could also describe it as buttery.
I
So
don't
when
want
you
to do that.
say butter on your teeth, do you mean like that fur?
I would assume so. I don't really
Okay.
know. Like, I don't know.
As a child, someone says you have buttery teeth, and you just go, okay.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
guess I'll brush them again. Brush
Yeah,
them again.
exactly. I guess it would be like plaque or like
Yeah, yeah.
whatever the stuff is that's on your teeth. And now now that's on the internet forever, and my mom knows I do this. So,
I personally have had enough mouth discussion.
so
Well, I would just recommend that you come up with something that makes you maybe not fully comfortable,
buttery. Got
but but
it.
is something you can live with.
Oh, least offensive mouth description possible.
Yeah. Cheeky. That was one of them.
That's okay. I'm
Cheap.
okay with that
That's
one.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
that's
good.
cheeky is
cute.
a good.
Um, so I'm gonna move on to
Please.
We
let's head to the next slide, which is the last one, and then we can just like talk. Um, I put together Solon from Amber, a few discussion points about the kinds of things that I am curious about, um, getting your perspective on
Mm,
about the game. So when I say what genre is this, it would be super easy to just say "Meh, goblins fantasy."
Mm,
yeah.
Um, is it fantasy? Is it comedy? Is it some other thing? Um, I think we're going to have a lot to choose from here, and it may
mm,
be some mashup of um, multiple genres. But we'll see. We'll see
yeah,
what we think when we play.
yeah.
That's quite interesting because I have never thought of comedy like weirdly, even though I'm somebody who has done like those types of streams and games and all that, I've never thought of like applying the genre comedy
Mm,
to a TTRPG game. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's I think like fantasy horror, like that that's
I
what I
think
think.
more in terms of physical setting, I think is how I kind of think
Yeah.
genre.
Yeah, I think that's where I would go what I would go with too. But now that you've said it, I do kind of think that this would be more classed as comedy.
Some games are built to be funny.
Like One Honk Before Midnight, that is
Yeah,
definitely a comedy game.
yeah. A honey
Um,
heist is silly. Like that's meant to be funny.
Potentially, I have no idea.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't
Well,
either, but
we
I
should play
want to
Honey
play
Heist
it.
because oh my god, Honey Heist is so much fun.
Oh, there you go. Um, yeah, like, but in, but again, it's the same thing that we said with Stew Pot, or was it? Yeah,
Hmm?
I think it was. I said it in my recorded thing of Stew Pot was like you could put this in any like physical setting genre, like imagine like cow. I kind of want to do this now that I've thought of it. Cow cowboy goblins.
I mean, that's kind of my plan with my character in general, but
That would be
yes.
sick. But but that could be something that's done,
Yeah.
like film noir goblins, like
Oh my
these like
god.
hard boiled fucking goblins smoking cigarettes, like with the slatted shadows.
Yeah, we've said it a few times, but I think like um space is such a fun one to throw things into.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
you can even
Space
reskin it
goblin.
instead of being, well, I mean, instead of even being a little goblin, you're just a little alien dude, and then there's big aliens. Like you can reskin things like this, things that are kind of this loose so
Yeah.
easily. And I think that's such a fun part of it.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things about the system as well, like the mechanical system. Like I guess it doesn't have a name, like because it is used in One Honk Before Midnight,
Mm.
and they just call it the honk system. Um, so, yeah, um, I would say that this system and 100 Before Midnight share a system, but that system doesn't seem to have a name.
Yeah.
Um, I lost my point.
Oh,
It's
I'm
gone.
following you. You just
No, I said I
talk.
fully no, but
I
that's
don't
the
know where
thing.
we're going, but I'm coming
I
with you.
but that's the thing. I'm lost now. I can't remember where I was. I can't remember where I'm going. I lost it.
Well,
Genre.
you bring up genre, and I think one of the things we talked about at the end of Stewpot was, let's do this in space. Yeah,
Yes,
let's do this in space. Um, and you just mentioned like little space alien goblins, and
we
I'm
could
in
be
love all of
Jawas.
a sudden. Yes, you could be Jawas.
That would be fucking great. The
That would
Jawas
be
are my
Absolutely.
awesome.
favorite.
Um,
Legally distinct from actual Star Wars, though, in case Disney are
Well,
looking.
listen, I don't want to get sued.
I
yeah.
don't either. They're so litigious.
Yeah.
Um, so then we've got, and we touched on this
Mm.
before. Is it mechanics or role play driven? This is we talked about asking Martin, what their opinion was.
Yeah, I think that's
Uh,
a big question. We should ask him if our Ben and Declan are doing an interview with him.
Hmm.
Yeah, then I think that should be the one of the big questions that should
Yeah.
be
yeah,
asked, like what their opinion would be on it.
Yeah. What was the intention when first creating? Because, like you said, Kate, we're gonna do what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
Like
I know what you guys are gonna do,
we're just gonna do our thing,
yeah,
okay?
exactly. I don't
but
care if it said no role play. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, it definitely is a bit more balanced than Supot was. Like there's
Mm,
more mechanic, and if
for
you're
sure.
going on errands, then like there has to be a mechanic to get through that or to fail or succeed. So like it's definitely more mechanic driven than Supot was. But
Yeah, like
you're also not going to tell a story without the role playing.
yeah, and like I think this is a question that's kind of asked a little later in this slide, but what the fuck? It's gone again.
Focus, focus.
I don't
give her a
have.
spoon.
I need this food. What was it? It was I remember now. So like because this game is giving me real like One Hunk Before Midnight vibes. I'm
Yeah.
really glad that we played that now because I have this kind of comparison
Mm,
in my head where it was very much like not that it wasn't narratively driven, it was, but it was determined by the players but tempered by mechanics. The big thing about Stu Pot, which was probably a point against it, but also was just the fact of the mini games
hmm
where they're fantastic. I loved them, but at the same time, I don't necessarily think of mini games when I think of a TTRPG. If that
Yeah.
you know what I mean, where
Yeah.
this feels much truer to
Yeah.
what a TTRPG is,
Yeah.
um, where the mechanics don't hinder the role play, but they are
In support.
necessary
Yeah.
for it. That's. Thank you for attending my forgetful TED talk.
Counterpoint, TTRPG stands for tabletop role playing game, and Supot's the only one that's actually done it right. If we're defining it as is.
What do you mean? Explain.
Like tabletop role playing game. That's we call them role playing games. They are games in
I
which you role
see.
play. Whereas what we know a role playing game to be is actually a roll a dice game and then have a conversation. Like I just wonder like when that term was coined a million years ago, were things a little
You
more
know,
role play y?
a million years ago, the 70s.
Yeah.
A million years ago in the 70s. So if I were to express what I understand about that, um, the initial, you know, tabletop role playing games grew out of combat games where
Yeah,
you skirmish games,
Mm.
and you didn't even initially have a character.
yeah. You just
Um,
had armies. It was very much like Warhammer. Warhammer
Yeah,
should
yes,
have
yeah.
been the first TTRPG.
it could have been. And it wasn't until
Lord Gygax.
well, it was actually someone else whose name I've forgotten who made Blue Box, um, actually brought into play, the, the role mechanic, not the
Yeah.
Right.
ROFL, the ROLE
Oh,
Yes.
mechanic.
LL. Right,
Or
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so I'm gonna get corrected by someone, but that is my recollection.
Yeah,
Um, so a fairly it's a fairly new idea. I mean, H.G.
yeah,
Wells wrote a book called Little Wars, which was a tin soldier battle game.
yeah,
Yeah,
Um, those kind of games have been around a lot longer than
yeah,
what we think of as TTRPGs.
yeah.
yeah,
Like
Um,
from my understanding of the history of TTRPGs, it like you said, it developed out of war games, but the concept of those games came from war. So,
yes.
The
so
real original
the
TTRPG
RPG
was
war.
war.
It is
Yeah.
war. Yes, for
Okay.
sure.
I'm glad we got
Uh,
to the bottom of this. I feel like we've really cracked something here.
guys, we've done it. We've done it. We've solved it. But it was like the movement of troops, and I honestly, I think it was a Brian David Gilbert video, but
Love that guy.
he's great. But it was the hit point was based on uh how many 14-inch shells a human being could take before dying, and it was one, so everybody
Wow,
had one hit point.
that's horrifying. Thanks for
Yeah,
sharing.
Yeah.
you're so welcome.
Well, and it's because it was designed for machinery, the
Yes,
machinery of war.
yeah, and but then that kind of became like the war games, and I wouldn't be able to name any war
Yeah.
game from that era, but from them, then whoever it was, I think Gary Gygax and all the other cool kids, they developed like the notion of classes and
Yeah.
races and all that type of thing.
Yeah.
God, I should be a history teacher. Just straight up.
I've got a good book for you. So, um, yeah, I think we're gonna find out we will be role play driven.
Yeah.
Um, but the mechanics are going to be important. And so I've got a philosophy. When I run a game, you should only roll dice when the outcome is uncertain and important.
Mm,
Um, and I feel like this game really supports that kind of idea,
Okay.
just because um, it in the book you'll come across this should you have a chance to read it. In the book, there is an explicit section that says when not to roll dice.
okay.
Um,
I think more
and
things need that.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So I find that a very useful thing, particularly for people who have come from systems where um,
Like there's a lot of role.
everything
Yeah,
everything is a
Yeah.
die roll.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, you can't breathe without rolling a die.
So
Yeah.
so here's the thing. Like I'm actually like when I said I am a dice goblin, I wasn't lying. I am a dice goblin, and I do think it is one of my like DM sins that I love to roll a dice, and I will take any opportunity to do so. And that is something I've worked on, especially after doing a lot more conventions for people who aren't my friends.
Yeah.
You have to make a better impression with them, and um, but but I think that is a personal thing. You know what I mean? Because I think, but there are the groups of like people who are coming into it. Like what they've heard about TTRPGs is that there's dice,
Yeah.
right? And some of them come in and they just want to roll dice all dang day. But I think as you get more experienced, you're like, I don't actually want to roll dice all that much.
Yeah.
Um, and I think these kind of rules light games are like as a result
Yeah.
of people wanting to roll dice less. See, I got to a point in the end, and I'm so proud of myself.
Good job.
See, I've got some ideas for you on how to solve this dice rolling problem, Dread, but we'll take it
Hmm.
offline. Um, so degree of crunch, I think we already know this
Yeah,
one.
pretty light. Pretty
Feel
I
lightweight.
like,
suspect pretty light. I will be shocked if something other than that happens.
yeah,
Now, one thing, the next one, could it really go no prep?
I
One of
don't.
the things that is claimed or
Mhm.
is suggested in the book is that this is a no prep or can be a no prep game.
Okay.
Okay.
I am I have prepped. um,
And hey, we're proud of you for that.
thank you, thank you. Um, I've still got more to do, but
What
it's
is?
something done. Um, so I will be curious to see after the end of a couple sessions how y'all feel about actually taking it no prep.
Mhm.
Um,
See, here's the thing, and because um, again, the comparisons with One Honk Before Midnight, like had a similar claim of little to no prep, and I am a nervous prepper, so I'll prep little things here and there, um, but what I found with One Hunk Before Midnight when I did prep it was like it was almost redundant to
Mm.
do too much, but at the same time there is a such thing as too little. There is such thing as
yes.
too little,
Absolutely, yeah.
and I think there's the games that claim one prep, they are more for people who are extremely comfortable with improv.
Mm.
Because,
Yeah.
like, even improv people, they need, like, a word.
Yeah, you need a
Uh,
vibe.
you need a vibe. And I think it's very hard to claim, oh, this is a no prep, no, like, you could just get up and go. And I think that for some people, that's true. But I think for most, it's not. It definitely wasn't for me, like for One Hunk Before Midnight. And sorry, this is just that was scary. um, definitely wasn't for me, and I you have said that it isn't for you. So that's like from your looking, do you actually think it's um do you actually think it's a no, like could be a no prep, or do you think it's a marketing gimmick?
So for me, going into it, I am dealing with my own personality and experience, which is
Yeah.
prep, prep, prep.
For sure. Yeah.
Um, I would be curious to try to do it no prep, but I'm not sure I'm going to do that online.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, that is so fair. You don't want that type of stuff on the internet. But
I guess the question will be after you've run it twice for us, would you then like would that be enough for you to pick it up a third time without prep because you know the mechanics well enough, you know the game well enough, depending on the crowd you're picking it up for, would you trust them to pick up what you're putting down, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think that's real fair. Um, so the next is how will the focus work? We've talked about that a lot. Um, and that'll be fun and interesting.
yes.
Mhm.
So the next two are kind of now questions rather than questions we'll address during play. So,
For sure.
what are you guys excited about?
Being a little guy.
I just want to be a little dude.
I just want to be a little guy. I am genuinely looking for, because I was looking at the playbooks, as I've said, and I love the oh, it was I can't the rowdy and the rascal. I don't know if there's something about those two playbooks. I believe like one is like the artificer stand-in and the other one is rogue stand-in. Um oh, they just sound like fun little guys. I just wanna
You
this is
just like the letter R.
I do like the little letter R. Why? Who knows? But but like out of all of them, like those are the ones I'd be very eager to try. That
They
would be
just
my
speak to you.
only. They do speak to me. That would be the only reason I would be okay with, say, maybe playing two separate games rather than just the one.
Yeah,
One longer. Because I just want to try out all these little guys and see what they're like.
yeah.
They're great.
I was looking through the actual book a bit, and I ran into a page that I really liked where it explains like group actions and help actions.
Mm,
I know in your standard D&D you can assist, GM allowing, and sometimes gives you like a bonus die. But I like that that's just a mechanic built in that you're a group and you're working together and you're trying to get something done. This is followed by competing actions, which is, equally fun. But I
yeah,
like that it is just a piece of the game that there's three of you and you're trying to get this job done. So this is how it works to do that, to work as a team. Whereas I find in a lot of TTRPGs, it's I'm doing this thing, and then that person over there goes, well, can I don't know, do this stupid thing on the side to like help in some way?
yeah,
Whereas this seems to be a bit more tailored toward, the three of you are trying to collectively reach a goal.
yeah. Like that is like in D&D it's like you just give advantage, right? But
Yeah.
one of like in Call of Cthulhu, which we will be
Mm.
getting to at some point,
Mm-hmm.
um the help action is it's a little, it's like Call of Cthulhu is a crunchy game, spoiler, but
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, some it doesn't like that's the way that where crunch I think gets in the way of like role play and stuff,
Yeah.
where it's just like a little too complicated and you're just like, you know what, I don't want to help. I don't want
It's too hard to help you,
Too hard to help
okay?
you. Do it
it's
yourself.
it's truly too hard for me to understand how I can help you and how I
Yeah.
can translate that into like a role playing moment. Whereas with hopefully I haven't seen this mechanic, so I can't say for sure how it's different. But I hope it is very much like a, oh, you add a die, you'll add an extra die
Mm.
to the pool.
Yeah.
And yeah,
It just feels a bit more effective. Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
And I think you're going to have opportunities doing so. You're going to have opportunities to say how you're helping. Um, and it's going to be things like I had on the first, second page of the deck here. It's going to be like
Mm.
we're all going to stand on each other's shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great. I don't
Yeah,
know.
perfect.
These
Um,
other guys.
and then one more thing is what is giving you guys pause? What are you concerned about?
I can't think of anything at the moment. Like
Yeah, not really.
there's nothing like, again, because I wanted to get your take on it. I haven't read through, the only thing I've really read through are the playbooks. Um the only thing I can I if and this is me actually thinking and searching for something that gives me pause. The thing that gives me pause is understanding how the titles work, but I think that's just something that I will learn through play. So, yeah, that's truly the only thing I could think of.
Awesome. Well, good. So here's my plan for, pardon me. um,
Okay.
Goblin's got her.
for next session when we actually get to play. So I have set up kind of the location of the Ken. We're going to be in a bog on the side of a river delta, and the
Ooh.
tall people community is actually built on stilts within the river delta itself.
Oh, sick.
Oh, cute. I love it.
Oh, we're gonna sneak
Um,
in under the floorboards. Awesome.
oh, you could. That hadn't even
Oh,
occurred to me.
no.
Stop telling me your secrets before you do them.
I didn't know it was a secret.
um, and I haven't decided the errand yet or anything, but what we're going to do is there are a set of, they call them icebreaker questions,
Mhm.
um, where you're going to roll up. I think you use a d20 to roll it. Um, you're going to roll up a question and answer it, and it's going to set a feature of your Ken.
Oh, okay.
Um, so you guys have a critical element in putting it together. And so all three of you will do that. And then we will all create characters at the same time and introduce them.
Mm.
Um,
Great.
and I think that that'll take, I mean, making characters in this game takes 14 seconds.
Yeah, it's quick.
Sick.
So you're not going to have a lot of time to mess around. You just don't expect it to take long.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think
and
we both have
then,
an idea of what we're after anyway. So
oh,
Yeah.
I'm
if we,
excited.
yeah.
Well, oh, and Martin recommends that you use crayons to fill in your character sheet. So
Okay.
I
just,
weirdly, I bought crayons for like some like art exercises I've been trying to do. And it's just like it's just a weird coincidence that was specifically requested.
oh, I love that. That's excellent. So yeah, and so next session, bring some crayons or pencils will be allowed. Um,
Frowned
and
upon.
eh, not preferred, allowed. Your dice bag with gobs of d6s, and
Yeah.
honestly, you
Nope.
really only need six or so.
Okay.
Um, and a spoon.
A spoon.
A spoon. Yes, I
I'm
shall
gonna
find
have to
one.
explain to my wife why I'm walking into this room with a spoon in my hand to go stream, and I can't wait.
It's gonna be fun.
My husband will live and die without context. I will I will
This is my
never
spoon.
tell him.
Hey, can I have a spoon? Yep.
Yep.
Why? Don't worry about it. Bye.
Not even that. He's just gonna look at me and I'm gonna give him direct eye contact,
Spoon.
grab a spoon, and just walk it back just backward. I'm walking backwards, holding the spoon and
Yes, I love
maintaining eye
this.
contact. Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
yeah,
This is required now.
for sure.
And if you have a beautiful spoon or a stupid spoon, feel free to use that.
Okay.
I'll try and find
I'll
this
find a spoon.
spoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Guys, do you have
Wooden
any
spoon.
more questions or thoughts that we should share? Because that's the end of my content.
Yay, the
No,
end.
that's good. I'm excited. I'm
I
excited
am
to be a
also
little guy.
yeah, me
Yeah.
It's gonna be
too.
fun.
To run an errand and hopefully not. Well, I was gonna say not die, but I can't. So
I, we
great.
are
Yeah, invincible. Let's
No.
go.
we are
Yeah,
bound to this
exactly.
existence, and if that's pain and suffering, I guess that's that.
Oh, well, I wasn't thinking about it that way, but okay.
No, be depressed. Join me in the dark side.
I'm sorry you have to play the square now.
Oh no! Damn
Will
it.
you be filling out your sheet with like a black crayon and just be like
Yeah,
sadness?
I'll have like I'll make a proper emo fringe,
Yes,
put on some like really dark eyeliner. It's like
perfect.
life
Can't
is
wait.
pain. Existence is pain.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for the time, and thank you for letting me run this game.
Thank you. I'm
Thank
so excited.
you. So am I. I can't wait to be a weird emo goblin.
Oh God, what have we created?
Your worst goddamn nightmare.
All right, and with that, I guess we'll be signing off to our fates. I can't wait to see what is going to happen.
Oh, it's
Me
gonna be
too.
great.
Perfect.
It's
Thank
gonna be
you,
awesome.
Kate. Thank you, Dred. Thank you, everybody in chat. Thank you to Martin who has left, but I don't know, might come back and watch this later. So thanks anyway for showing up. Yeah, that's been TTRPG Trials. This is Amber signing off. Don't forget, new Romancing the Dungeon tomorrow. I have to say it, or Declan will come to my house and kill me. And if he does that, then I can't be a little guy. So,
No, Declan, no.
Declan, no, stop. That is Dread.
So
That would have been Wes, but he's not here. And that's Kate. And thank you so much. We will see you in 2 weeks.
2
Thank
weeks.
y'all.
Be there, be square. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.